Good morning, fourth grader. Today's packet is Wednesday, April 29th. Today we're going to be comparing themes and topics across cultures. The reading target is I can compare and contrast patterns of events, quests, and myths from different cultures. Comparing and contrasting two different stories can help you better understand common topics, patterns of events, and themes and stories from different cultures. What is the topic? The topic is the subject of a literary work. It is the big idea of a story or what it's mostly about. The topic is usually stated in one or two words such as honesty, friendship, or greed. So to find the following key words, where it says topic here, you would write the definition of topic. What is the pattern of events? The pattern of events is what happens in the story. It is often referred to as the plot, a sequence of events or actions that make up a story. The main character usually goes on a journey to achieve a goal or solve a problem. Themes and topics are revealed by literary elements, example, characters, settings, and events and stories. What is the theme? The theme of a story is a central unifying message of a literary work, story, myth, legend, tall tale, fable, etc. To find the theme, ask yourself, what is the story's central idea? Think about the message that the author wants the reader to understand about people, life, and the world we live in. The theme is always written as a statement, such as, hard work can bring great reward, or actions speak louder than words. What does culture mean? Culture means the ideas, beliefs, and values shared by a group of people. Stories, myths, and traditional literature reflect the values and beliefs of the culture from which they come. The other keywords you need to know and define are literary work, pattern of events, theme, and culture. Directions: read the myth below, then answer the questions. Adonis. Adonis was young, kind, and handsome. Everywhere he went, he was surrounded by things that loved him. Flowers sprang up under his feet, and butterflies fluttered around him. Whenever he went out hunting in the forests, Venus, the goddess of beauty, used to watch him from a distance, hoping he was not attacked by wolves, panthers, or other beasts, even more dangerous, who lived in the forest. Mars, the evil war god, hated all gentle and beautiful things, and he hated Adonis worst of all. And one day, Mars sent a wild boar with sharp tusks to attack the boy. Several hours later, Venus found Adonis, who was hurt and dying, with blood falling from his side. As Venus bent over him, her tears fell to the ground and were changed to wildflowers, while every drop of blood that fell from the wound of Adonis came a red rose. Soon Adonis went down to the dark underworld, and all living things on earth mourned for him. The flowers wilted in the fields, the trees dropped their leaves, and the nightingales sang the saddest songs they knew. The muses cried, "Woe, woe for Adonis! He was perished, the lovely Adonis." An echo from the dark forest, where the boy had so often hunted, responded, "He has perished, the lovely Adonis." Finally, Jupiter said that Adonis should return to Earth, and that he should spend half of his time in the upper world and the other half in the underworld. So the hours brought him back. As Adonis returned to the earth, flowers bloomed, the trees grew new leaves, and all were happy once again. Narcissus. Narcissus had a beautiful twin sister whom he loved more than anything in the world. Unfortunately, the sister died when she was young, leaving Narcissus heartbroken. Narcissus missed her so much that he wished he would die as well. One day, Narcissus sat on the ground near a spring. As he was thinking of his lost sister, he gazed into the water and noticed a face like hers, looking up at him. He thought perhaps his sister had become a water nymph and was actually there in the spring, but would not speak to him. Naturally, the face Narcissus saw was really the reflection of his own face in the water, but he did not realize that, since there were no clear mirrors at that time. Narcissus continued to lean over the water to see the beautiful face that looked so much like his sister's. Narcissus found so much comfort at the spring that he came there every day to look at the face he saw there and to mourn for his sister, until at last the gods felt sorry for him and changed him into a flower. This flower was the first narcissus, which still grows to this day by the side of ponds or streams and still bends its beautiful head to look at the reflections of its own face in the water. Question 1. What is the theme of these myths? Question 2. Compare these two myths. How are they similar? Question 3. Contrast these myths. How are they different? And number 4. What do you think the author's purpose was for this story? And what makes you think so? Hercules and the King. Hercules was stronger than any man in Greece. One day, the king challenged him to clean the royal stable in one day. The rich king kept thousands of cattle, so he knew the task was impossible. Hercules agreed to try and thought of a plan. First, he tore a hole in the wall at each end of the stable. Then he grabbed a nearby river and pushed it into the hole. The water rushed through the stable and out the hole on the far wall, washing the stable clean. Using both his strength and his brain, Hercules had done what the king asked. Isis and Osiris. A wise king and queen named Osiris and Isis once ruled the land of Egypt. All was well until Set, Osiris's jealous brother, plotted to take over the throne. First, he had his craftsmen build a beautiful golden trunk that would exactly match his brother's measurements. Then he brought the trunk to Osiris's court and offered it as a gift to anyone who could fit inside. After convincing Osiris to try it out, Set and his followers nailed down the lid and threw the trunk into the Nile River before Osiris's guards could stop them. Isis, Osiris's brave and loyal wife, set out to find the trunk and release him. She wandered a long time over a vast distance, until at last she heard that the golden trunk had been discovered in faraway land called Byblos. Reaching Byblos after a difficult journey, Isis learned that the trunk had washed ashore and become stuck in a bush. The bush eventually sprouted into a large tree, which the king of Byblos cut down and used as a pillar in his palace. Isis pretended to be an old woman in order to get inside the king's palace. The queen liked her so much that she asked Isis to care for her young son, the prince. In time, Isis grew to love the prince and decided to make him immortal. She brought the boy to the pillar in which the trunk containing Osiris was hidden. She lit a fire and began to recite the magic words. Happening upon the scene, the queen rushed to free her son Isis, then revealed her true self and scolded the queen for interrupting the ceremony that would have made her son immortal. Seeing that the boy was unharmed, the queen regretted her hasty behavior. She offered to repay Isis, who asked for the pillar that contained Osiris. Isis split open the pillar and took Osiris's body home to be buried so that he could pass into the land of dead. There he became king once more. Number 1. How are the patterns of events in the myth similar? Question 2. How are the patterns of events in the myth different? Question 3. How are the themes in the myth similar? Question 4. How are the themes in the myth different? Writing. I can write an opinion piece on a topic supporting my point of view with reasons and evidence. This week, we'll focus on opinion writing. This is your opportunity to practice the power of using your thoughts to effectively communicate your opinion. In order to allow you to work on the different elements of a complete writing piece, each day has its own focus. By Thursday, you will have a completed opinion piece. Wednesday, write the body of your piece. Using strong supporting details such as examples, explanations, and experiences, make your plan come alive in your piece. Writing situation. Learning important life lessons helps us grow and become mature young persons and adults. Sometimes we learn those lessons from reading a book or watching a movie or television show. At other times, we learn valuable practical wisdom from events which take place in our lives of persons who are close to us. Writing directions. Which lesson has the most lasting impact? One which you read about or seen on the screen, or one which actually happens to you? Write an article for your school newsletter in which you share your opinion regarding the source of the most valuable lesson. Back up your beliefs with strong reasons. Number 1. Below, write the body of your piece. Reason/box 1, 2, and 3 from your Foursquare. Remember to use the EX team to add details to your writing. Examples, experiences, explanation, and experts. Math. Target. I can apply the formula for the area of a rectangle to solve real-world and mathematical problems. In 4th grade, we will use what we've learned in 3rd grade about calculating the area of rectangles and squares to real-life situations. Here is the formula for area. Length times width equals area. If you have the following rectangle, it has 10 foot by 4 foot by 10 foot by 4 foot, you would calculate the area of the rectangle. 10 foot times 4 foot equals 40 foot squared. Area is measured in square units. Example, square feet. It represents the number of squares that cover the space completely. Here is an example of a real-world problem that would match the perimeter equation above. I should say area equation above. Question. Mrs. Deem is planting her new rectangular vegetable garden. She wants the length of one side of the garden to be 10 foot and the width of one side to be 4 foot. What is the area of Mrs. Deem's vegetable garden? Answer. The area of Mrs. Deem's vegetable garden is 40 square feet. The lesson. But what if we are given the area and the value of one side? How can we calculate what the missing side length is for the shape? Think of the relationship between multiplication and division, as well as the attributes, features of a rectangle or square. If this rectangle has one side that's 10 foot and the area equals 40 square feet, for rectangles, we know that the formula for area is length times width equals area. So, 10 foot times width equals 40 foot. Width equals 4 feet. Since we know the relationship between multiplication and division, we can also say area divided by length equals width. So, 40 square feet divided by 10 feet equals width. Width equals 4 foot. For a square that has an area of 25 square feet, we know one side is 5 feet. So, we know that the formula for area is length times width equals area. So, 5 foot times width equals 25 feet. The width equals 5 feet. Since we know the relationship between multiplication and division, we can also say that area divided by length equals width. So 25 square feet divided by 5 feet equals width. Width equals 5 feet. Here's an example of a real-world problem that asks you to find the side length or width given the area and one side measurement. Question. Mrs. Deem is planning to build a fence around her new rectangular vegetable garden to protect it from small animals. The length of one side of the garden is 10 feet and the area of the garden is 40 feet. What is the measurement of the missing side length? Answer. The measurement of the missing side length is 4 foot. Practice. Question 1. What is the area of a rectangular yard with a length of 6 centimeters and a width of 7 centimeters? A. 13 centimeters squared. B. 42 centimeters squared. C. 26 centimeters squared. Or D. 17 centimeters square. Draw and solve. Question 2. What is the area of a square with a side length of 12 inches? A. 48 inches squared. B. 24 inches square. C. 144 inches square. Or D. 12 inches square. Draw and solve. Practice. 3. Emery was measuring her backyard to build a fence for her new puppy. The length of one side of the yard was 50 feet. The width of the yard on one side was 90 feet. What is the area of her backyard? A. 140 square feet. B. 280 feet. C. 1,400 feet. Or D. 4,500 square feet. Number 4. At an exercise gym, there is a fenced-in playground for small children. The playground measures 20 feet by 25 feet. What is the area of the playground? A. 45 square feet. B. 500 square feet. C. 250 square feet. Or D. 90 square feet. Draw and solve. Exit slip. Mia wants to paint the top of her square table. If the length of one side of the table is 2 meters, what is the size of the area she will paint? A. 2 square meters. B. 4 square meters. C. 8 square meters. Or D. Not enough information given. Draw and solve. Number 2. Liz and Jane are making a rectangular blanket. The length of the long side is 6 feet and the short side is 4 feet. What is the area of the blanket? A. 20 square feet. B. 10 square feet. C. 24 square feet. Or D. 52 square feet. Draw and solve. Exit slip. Number 3. Jenny is roping off part of her backyard to play soccer. The field needs to be 30 feet by 15 feet. What is the area of the yard she will rope off to play soccer? A. 450 square feet. B. 90 square feet. C. 45 square feet. Or D. 1,125 square feet. Draw and solve. Number 4. Ray found the area of the window in his bedroom to be 48 square feet. If the length of the window is 4 feet long, what is the width? Draw and solve. A. 12 square feet. B. 4 square feet. C. 44 square feet. Or D. 52 square feet. Science. Target. I can construct an argument that plants and animals have internal and external structures that function to support survival, growth, behavior, and reproduction. Directions: review the notes, complete the worksheets. You can either write the words or definitions in the box, or clearly draw arrows to where you think the models should go to match up with the model or vocabulary. Take the exit slip. News ELA. Blood and the Classification of Blood Vessels by the National Cancer Institute, adapted by News ELA staff on 10/26/17. The word count is 558. Summary. The heart is a fist-sized organ that pumps blood through your blood vessels. There are 2 types of blood vessels: the arteries, which carry blood away from the heart, and the veins, which carry blood to the heart. Blood makes sure your body keeps working. It flows everywhere, from your head to your toes. Thanks to blood, every part of the body gets what it needs. Blood is also alive. It is made of living cells called red blood cells and white blood cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen from your lungs to other parts of the body. Oxygen is a kind of gas that is in the air. Our bodies need it to work. White blood cells keep you healthy. Blood vessels. The blood in your body flows from tiny tubes. These tubes are called blood vessels. They are like highways that let blood get to where it needs to be. There are 2 groups of blood vessels. They are called pulmonary vessels and systemic vessels. Both groups start and end at the same place, the heart. The heart is what keeps the whole system going. It has 4 chambers, or spaces, that fill up with blood. The 2 bottom chambers are called ventricles. The top 2 are called atriums. The pulmonary vessels are in charge of bringing blood to your lungs. They carry blood out of the right ventricle. The blood then goes through the lungs. The lungs take in oxygen from the air you breathe. This oxygen sticks to the red blood cells in the blood. After that, the vessels carry this oxygen-rich blood back to the left atrium. Systemic vessels don't deal with your lungs. They bring blood to all the other parts of the body. They take blood from the left ventricle of the heart, and then they bring blood back to the right atrium. Vessels are not all the same. There are 3 different kinds: arteries, capillaries, and veins. Arteries. Arteries carry blood away from your heart. Pulmonary arteries carry blood from the right ventricle to your lungs. In the lungs, your blood picks up the oxygen the body needs. But oxygen also needs a way to get to other body parts. This is what systemic arteries are for. They take blood and oxygen from the heart and bring it to the rest of the body. Veins are the opposite of arteries. They carry blood to the heart, not away from it. Remember, the lungs take oxygen from the air. Pulmonary veins bring this oxygen to the heart. They fill up its left atrium. Systemic veins carry blood from the body to the right atrium of the heart. The blood they carry has much less oxygen in it. Most of the oxygen has been used up by the body. Capillaries. Capillaries are the smallest kind of blood vessel. They connect arteries and veins together. They let go of the oxygen that passes through them. That is how the oxygen gets into the rest of the body. It's hard to picture how many blood vessels there are in the human body. Imagine taking all the arteries, capillaries, and veins and stretching them out. If you stretch them out in a line, the line would be incredibly long. It would wrap around the earth more than 2 times. Vocabulary. Drag the definition to the correct vocabulary term. So you have oxygen, carbon dioxide, and the heart. The organ that pumps blood throughout your body, the internal structure. You have waste that we exhale, breathe out. And you have the substance we breathe in. Blood with this in it gets carried away from the heart to the rest of your body so that it can perform its different jobs. We have artery, vein, and capillary. Tiny blood vessels that carry oxygen to the tissues and waste to the veins. Blood vessels that carry blood that has oxygen away from the heart. Blood vessels that move blood that needs oxygen toward the heart. Exit slip. Number 1. What is the circulatory system? A, the body's breathing system. B, the body's system of muscles. C, the body's food processing system. Or D, the body's blood transporting system. Number 2. Which of these is not an internal structure that helps transport blood throughout your body? A, veins. B, heart. C, muscle. Or D, arteries. Number 3. True or false? Oxygen is the substance that is carried out to your body by your arteries. A true, B false. Computer apps. What would a super digital citizen do? Directions, Part 1. Work with your partner to review the scenarios below. Then, write what a super digital citizen, or SDC, would do to be an upstander. Number 1. Oh no! Someone spreads rumors about somebody else online. What would an SDC do? Number 2. Are you kidding? While playing a game, one player is writing insulting things to another player. What would an SDC do? Number 3. Unbelievable. Someone forwards a message that was meant to be private to someone else. What would an SDC do? What would a super digital citizen do? Directions, Part 2. Choose one of the problems from Part 1. Create a comic strip in which your superhero is an upstander against cyberbullying and saves the day. Use illustrations and captions to tell your story. 4th grade Spanish. Number 1, review vocabulary. Number 2, complete the leer y I don't know Spanish by filling in the blanks with the missing word from the list below. Number 3, draw a picture for each of the sentences. So we have here the English word and we have the Spanish word. We have earrings, scarf, jacket, necklace, gloves, bracelet, and a sweater. And that is the end of NTI Day, April 29th.